My drinking started really in the Army. Was, as I always tell people, was I an alcoholic? No, but I did drink steadily in the Army and got out of the Army, got a job in Milwaukee with a good company, and progressed in the company to the point where I had a very good job. And during all of this time, my drinking was steady and then later on progressing pretty heavily. The way I lived my life, I was on the road every other week, and I basically drank in some of the best bars in the United States. When I was home, I hibernated because I had a basement with a bar and a television and refrigerator, everything that I thought I needed. But I skipped baseball games, swimming meets, everything else with my kids. One point where coming home on the company plane with the company president, he asked about halfway home if I wanted a drink, and I thought to myself, it's about time you asked. And he started to get up, and I had enough sense to get up and say, no, I'll take care of it. Well, I went up and ordered a martini in a full big glass as he watched me, and then asked him what he'd like, and he finally said, I'll take a Diet Coke. And I thought, this isn't good. I was told that I was either going to get help for alcoholism or I'd be fired that day. Basically, I figured that I could go into treatment, learn how to control my drinking, and move on from there. And that's how I thought as I went in. I spent about 17 days in treatment, basically going nowhere. I was asked every single day who I was angry at, and I thought I was telling the truth. I said, I'm not angry. For some reason, I woke up 17 days later and realized I was mad at the world. I was mad at my wife and my boss and my kids and my friends and everybody except myself. And on that day it was okay, because at least at that point I could start making some progress in treatment and eventually the treatment of my alcoholism. I had quit smoking some 10 years before that at a New Year's party where, with a lot of martinis, somebody said, when are you going to quit smoking? And I said, one of these days. And he said, you don't have enough guts to quit smoking. And I put a cigarette out, and I never touched one since then. I could not do that with alcohol. I could not stop on my own. I needed the help of doctors, therapists, and a lot of people who were in treatment with me, and some of whom I'm still friends with today. When I went back to work, I was scared because I wasn't sure of my own sobriety yet. I was worried about what people would think. I had a new boss when I came back, and he said, do the job, and the past is the past. And so I was able to get off on the right foot that way. What pleased me most was that about 5 years later, I was eligible for a full retirement, and he asked me not to retire. To me, that was an ultimate thank you. Getting sober for your husband or your wife, for your kids, won't keep you sober. You have to decide, I want it for myself, and go from there. And yes, I've talked with people. I've actually seen people go into treatment. I've seen them relapse and go back to treatment or go back to a 12-step program and be very successful. And healing takes a long time. You know, I could come out of treatment and say I'm sorry, and it didn't mean anything because I'd spent years drinking. The only way I was going to prove to my wife, to my children, and to a lot of other people that I was truly serious about this was to stay sober. And gradually they realized I was going to stay sober, day at a time. Life today is not perfect, but life today is good. And I can look in the mirror and respect the person that I see. Might not be the best looking person, but I can say, hey, I remember what I did last night. I remember what I said last night. I don't have to apologize for it.